Oh my gosh.
This is another one. Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to stop the share for a minute so we can, Michelle, could you stop the share for a minute?
Sure.
I just wanted to say hello to everyone real quick. I am Cookie Rivera. I'm the programs manager for the Latino Action Network Foundation, and I am Victor's supervisor. I help him get this done for you. So today we have a wonderful lady in Michelle Gonzalez who works in corporate PSE&G for this Clean Industries job recruitment campaign that we're conducting throughout the year. And we're really looking for a lot of people in all levels of the industry's field with very good paying jobs. And there's ways to do this. As I mentioned earlier, I know most of you by your name because I've been looking at your resumes and things like that. So it's really nice to meet you now. But we want to make sure that your resume reflects the best you for a potential employer to ask you directly for an interview, right? So many of you have skills in other fields and jobs in other fields, but they're absolutely transferable skills, right? So there's a little bit of zhuzhing around your resume, if you will, but even if the skills don't show any clean industries type background, the transferable skills are absolutely appropriate for the portal, if you will. And that's why Victor has talked to you about developing cover letters. Say, this is my skill set and I'm interested in the clean industries field. And I'd like to, speak about this further so that you can kind of leave your resume intact. There's still some zhuzhing around that has to be on most of you. And we make a determination in your best interest of when the resume and or cover letter goes into the portal for you. Once it does, the employers themselves will contact you directly. You have to complete your own profile. You can contact employers. You can see the jobs that are vacant yourself. And Victor will also be matching you to jobs that he sees from his end as well, according to your skill set. So this is a wonderful opportunity that can end up anywhere in New Jersey. Depending on who the employer is, what kind of openings they have. So today, Michelle has been gracious enough to share her expertise with us as someone who's in PSE&G corporate and been in the Clean Industries campaign and more with PSE&G for a long time. I also want to applaud or thank Catherine Zelinsky, who is one of my mentors over there in the PSE&G campaign. So she came also to support us, which is such a wonderful thing. So right now, I would actually turn it over to Michelle. She's going to go through a bit of a PowerPoint with you on some things. We absolutely want this to be interactive. So once Michelle is finished with her SharePoint, you can ask any questions that you feel you want to hear. You can certainly continue to contact Victor in between. And I'm also available to you. And I get all the emails that Victor sends out. So welcome again. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Michelle Gonzalez.
Thank you, Cookie, and welcome everyone. It's so nice to see so many friendly faces. Really happy to be here. And just bear with me. I'm trying to get my PowerPoint working. So I want to thank the LAN to invite me to this. I'm really excited. I've been working for PSE&G for 32 years. And I hope that tonight, while there's so much information that I think anyone can get on the internet, I hope to impart a little bit of my own personal wisdom and techniques and just things that I consider when I've worked with my resume in trying to obtain various positions. So I want this, as Cookie had mentioned, I want this to be interactive. And I'm okay as long as Cookie's okay that if in the middle of a particular slide or something I'm saying, if a question arises, I'm happy to answer them and have a dialogue about what is it going to take to get resumes to be, prepared in a way that's going to be extremely helpful and effective at the end of the day, and give you the best image of yourself on paper. So just a quick overview of, I've been with the PSE&G. I can't believe when I look at that number, 32 years. As soon as I could walk, my parents said, it's time for you to go to work. So it's been a wonderful ride. Number one, I started in the bargaining, in the union position. It was an entry-level position that put me into an apprenticeship, an engineering apprenticeship, a 3-year program. Very comprehensive, very intensive. At that time, I look at it like 100 years ago, we really didn't use resumes as much as we did applications. So that's a little different from when I started. I had an application, and then of course, I came in for an interview and talked a little bit about my interest. And I was able to land this position as an engineering technician and get into the union, and then go through this 3-year apprenticeship, which I said is very comprehensive. At the end of that 3-year, you do get tested. And if you pass the test, you stay with PSE&G. If not, I guess you moved on. So I passed the test, and I was really happy to work in engineering for 7 years. But once I was in engineering, I was interacting with many parts of the organization: legal, accounting, finance, gas, electric, obviously. And I was able to see what other positions I was interested in. And what got me to those positions in a large organization like PSE&G is that you need to have a resume. So one of the things I did was, when I first started with the company, it was an application. And then I quickly learned how important it was to have a resume internally with the company. So I can talk a little bit about what I've done and in this space around engineering, and why I would be considered for, at the time was called sales and service, which is basically somewhat a mixture of project management for lighting, with street lighting that you see in the streets that PSE&G installs and maintains. And then from there, I did a few years of that, and then moved into a finance position, which kind of helped me build out scorecards for our organization, and did process improvement, technical training. I ran the whole sales department for lighting and unmetered services. I did a stint in HR, where I worked with a lot of the community colleges and nonprofits and workforce development agencies, as when I was a diversity manager for PSE&G, working with personnel. And that was an exciting position under the oversight of the president at the time. And then I continued in my career under, working with our construction inquiry department and various other management positions, which landed me up until 2017 in my current position, which is a public affairs manager for PSE&G. I support the city of Newark, Irvington, Nutley, and Belleville. So I work with the elected officials, the administration, a lot of the directors, DPW, and other directors on the municipality, to support them in their energy needs, projects that we're coming into the cities with, and obviously advocating program and services for PSE&G in general, and building bridges. As I say, a big part of my job is building bridges, connecting resources, connecting opportunities, and ensuring that we have great collaboration out in the community with our communities and with the cities themselves. Because at the end of the day, PSE&G is providing an essential service. And so I try to always keep branding all the good things that PSE&G is doing out there. So I like my position. And what's nice about my position is that I'm able to use all the institutional knowledge that I've acquired in 32 years into my current position. And that makes me quite valuable in a way that there's so many navigating areas of the organization. And basically, when the municipality contacts you, or a grassroots community leader, council person contacts me about a particular matter, I'm able to know where to go to resolve it, to help them, to support them, to advocate for them, et cetera. So I really like the work that I do, and I'm excited to be here. And I hope that my 32 years of experience will be helpful to you and give you some insights of what's important in a resume. In the context of our energy efficiency jobs program, very exciting. We're filling in 1,800 positions that vary from entry level, which I'm sure the LAN has explained, in many ways in communicating and doing outreach with all of you is that some of them are technical in nature and there's training for that. And then we have management positions and other non-labor positions that we have. So it's really important to understand those job descriptions and being able to develop a resume that will give us the best depiction of your skill sets, your strengths, and try to align them appropriately for the positions that we're trying to fill. So one of the things I like to start with I always say, we need to understand the position. And some of this information I'm going to give you, you can use it universally. And there is no so-called right or wrong, although there's some preferences that I will say that I wouldn't take. But because the nature of hiring and the nature of developing a resume can vary from industry, and just the personnel and the culture of a company has an impact on how their hiring practices are performed. So I always say we should understand what position that you're trying to pursue. And if you're looking for an entry-level position, which is going to require training and basic skills, like they'll say, oh, you have to have, a high school diploma, driver's license, some customer service skills, et cetera, things like that. It's important to understand it so that you develop the resume appropriate for that skill level. The same thing with moderate level skill set. This may be positions that are a little bit more technical in nature, may require some years of experience, and may also require some additional education and training. And again, it's important to know those positions and spend some time understanding it, and then reflecting on your skills, looking at your history of where you work, where you've been educated at, what kind of activities you performed, whether it's an internship, a project, or for an employer. How do you couple that to make sure that it aligns with the level of skill set that that position is seeking? And then I'll use the third one, which is called advanced level. I name it as that because these are positions that are probably more seasoned, many more years of experience, a little bit more of education, but I'm going to say experience is what really drives this level, advanced, where somebody has 5-10 years of experience in doing something. You need to understand what is expected, that folks expect to see in their resume. So one of the tips that have worked for me is that I read the position description several times. I just want to understand what is it they're looking for and what skills have I acquired that can match up to that. Obviously, the first question is, do I want to do this? Is this something that interests me? Is something that I want to switch my career from? It could be something you've been working in the health field and now you want to go into the energy efficiency field. And this is all, working with the LAN and the jobs program. All this is energy efficiency, the green economy, the movement around driving down that kilowatt hour that everyone uses to help people save money on their bills and become more purposeful in their energy usage, whether it's renewable or energy efficiency. So understanding and reading those job descriptions are very important in your reflection of what you've done, what you've acquired, and how you can extrapolate and pull from your experience what activities, skills, project, training, what have you done that aligns with what is being asked for or sought after in the job description. And one of the exercises I think is helpful is that when you're reading the job description, highlight those main emphases that are either being repeated or emphasized. In the job description, it'll typically lay out, the type of skills that they're looking for and the kind of environment that the person might be operating in. And so it's my tip here is to really emphasize in reading that job description, working with your workforce agency. And in this context, working with PSE&G and through the LAN, there's constant dialogue about the positions. So if you have questions, this is something that you can bring up to the LAN and say, hey, I have questions around what they're saying here. Would this apply for me? And get the support that you need to make sure that what you're seeking and what you understand what we're looking for aligns with what you can offer. And I think that's really, really important to take the time and read those job descriptions more than once, highlight what you think is being emphasized, and then look at your skill set and see if they align. Does that make sense to everyone so far?
Yes.
Okay. So I did some basic research on the internet, and many of you have probably done this. And this is some general information. It's amazing because I used to do hiring, because I hired for multiple departments throughout my career. And when I was reading up on this, I couldn't believe how short time that hiring managers, or recruiters, shall I say, look at resumes. And it varies between 6 to 7.5 minutes. So why is that important to know? I like to think that PSE&G and the efforts that we're putting forth, we're spending a little bit more time. I know for myself, when I was doing hiring, I spent at least, and it's not a lot more, 15 to 20 seconds per resume. If I got like 100 resumes, I had to get through them and try to fill only 2 or 3 positions. So time is very important to the recruiter. So why is that important? Well, it's important that your resume gets the most relevant information and is easy to follow, so that that recruiter can look at it and quickly pick off the things that they're seeking based on the job description, and that you're highlighting in your resume so that you can get picked. Because again, the strategy here is to make sure your resume gives us what we need for what we're looking for in a position and the skills, right? And to give you the opportunity to be called for an interview. And so if someone is only spending 10 to 20, between 6 to 20 seconds on a resume, they're really looking at specific information. And I found a short video that I wanted to share that I thought was really good about what's important in having a recruiter look what are they looking for, just to give you a sense. Is that okay to run that, Cookie?
How long is the video?
A minute. A little
Oh,
over a
yeah,
minute.
because I'm looking at the time, 6:20, so I want to definitely be interactive and stuff, but yeah.
Okay.
And yes, please show the video if you can get it on the screen.
Yeah, I'm gonna try, see if it works. Let's see.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Maybe it won't work. Let's see.
Well, could you send us the link and then we'll send it out to everyone, because we have them on a group email?
Yeah, I'll do that. That's probably the
But,
best
I
way to
mean,
do
you
it.
can try
I'll give
one
you
more
the,
time.
you'll see the deck, and if you click on it, it's really great. But what I really wanted everybody to take away is that the time to review resumes is really brief and short, especially if there's a lot of applicants. Let me go to the next
Can you
slide.
put that in the chat, the link even?
Let's see. Yeah, I have to.
No, no worries. Send it to us. We'll get it to them later.
Yeah. I'm still mastering my Zoom capabilities here. All right. So the next area I want to hit on as far as resume preparedness is around easy on the eyes. Basically, a resume that doesn't look, I'll say, in short terms, busy, doesn't look too busy, because recruiters in general are using short times to review resumes. Of course, in this context with the energy efficiency jobs program, we're probably spending a little bit more time. You're working with the LAN, you're working with workforce agencies, a little more time is being spent. But I want you to know that in general, if you put jobs out there for other positions in other industries, this is what they look for. A one pager is enough. Cover letter, it all depends. And I would seek the guidance of your employer and what's the typical thing that they receive. Cover letters are great when you want to talk about things that you don't have employment experience, but you have experience in, and you want to highlight that. Of course, it's just like another way to get you to convey some of the skills and things that you bring, the value proposition you bring to the organization. So keeping it to one page, having that format easy to follow, because the eyes, they actually did a study, and it's in my deck, this link. It actually gives you they did a study on the eyes, and it could only do like 6.5, 7 seconds So if the format is all over the place, different format, it's hard on the eyes, and they'll just skip and skip you over, and sometimes you may be missed. Having it well organized is important. Like, what is the most important pieces to the resume, which I'll show you shortly. Making sure that what you're writing underneath each area where you worked or what projects you've taken on, it's important to be succinct. Do not be too wordy. They're not gonna be able to read that all the time. So it's important for us to do the exercise of how can I be more succinct and precise about what I want that recruiter to see and read, that the light bulb goes off and that matches up with the job description or particular skill set that they're looking for. And obviously the relevancy, right? We don't want to put that you got awards with another type of industry if it has nothing to do with the industry you're in that you want to get into. So eliminate what's not relevant and only put in the resume what is absolutely relevant to that position from a skill set or an interest, which is why it's so important to read that job description multiple times to make sure you grab all that. And then make sure that your resume is evidence-based. Recruiters are looking for the evidence. What is the evidence that tells me this individual has the skill or the know-how or the ability to learn this work that we're going to be proposing, whether it's entry level, moderate level, or advanced, right? So important to know what level we're looking at, understanding that job description, and then making sure the evidence you put on the paper aligns with that position. Okay. So this is a resume that, I'm just trying to move your screen around here a little bit. That's on the industry right now. That's saying for 2022 is highly advantaged. And I like it personally because, I like this resume format, and there's millions to get out there, right? But what I like this format is that it is very easy to follow, and it has the relevant areas that a recruiter is going to look for, right? So I emphasize, make the best stuff loud and clear, right? Focus on what is that you bring to the table to that position that's going to stand out in the resume. So the name, obviously your phone number, your email, a brief summary, and that's not always required, but if you have something that's going to be really relevant and emphasize on the skill and the relevancy to that position, then put in a summary, because sometimes you don't need it. What they're going to look for is what's your experience, what's your skills and education. And as you can see, a lot of it is bulleted. I'm a big fan of bullets. I can read bullets fast than paragraphs, especially when you're spending, 10 to 20 seconds, on a resume. So I have the link on this deck, which I'll give to the LAN so they can share it with everybody. But this is really nice. It's easy to follow. It's easy on the eyes. It's very well organized. It captures all the right elements that a recruiter is going to be looking for. And it's in bullet format. Again, my preference in my days of hiring. I like bullets because I just want to I want things to get to the point. What is it you want to tell me so I can pay attention? If you notice, there is emphasis strategically. So in this position, they've managed or resulted in $147 million in revenue. That's relevant, depending on what the position this person was going for. So don't underline and boldface too much, because if you do too much, then it becomes like everything else. Nothing is that important. So the takeaway here is look at the resume format, easy to follow, straightforward, succinct, make all the relevant items about what you bring to the table, your skills, your experience, make that best stuff loud and clear in the resume up front, and then make your emphasis strategically. So I want to pause there for a moment and just get some feedback from everybody on this type of resume. Has anyone used this format before, or what are your thoughts on this?
There are, like I said earlier, Michelle, a wide range of things, from educators to judiciary people to nurses to people out of high school. So this is a little bit too open for that. Maybe you could kind of finish that, your PowerPoint, and then let's open it up, because because I've seen all the resumes, I'm gonna say some generic things that might, they'll know who I'm talking about, but nobody else does.
I
you
got
know,
it.
So that we can maybe have a real conversation that way.
Fantastic. Okay. So I'll go to, so this is, again, the end of my presentation is basically some words of wisdom. It's really important to know yourself, right? It's one thing to say, I want to be able to do something versus have you ever done it? Are you really, you have to check yourself. Can you do it? Is this something that you can, really stretch yourself to do? Not everybody can do everything. And certainly, I think all of us can learn that in our life journey. So I always say, know yourself best. What is it that you're really good at? What is it you really like to do? What do you really want to do? And that should help you line up with the type of career, industry, or positions that you're looking for. And then, stretch, right? Don't get comfortable with what you know. Always look to learn more, get some more certifications, get some more training, even if it's a workshop, even if it's those CEU credits, that you attend workshops and say, I learned a little bit about this, I learned a little bit about that. And this aligns with this industry, So always look to stretch and always add to your knowledge base. And I'm going to say it's okay to embellish in your resume, but just remember, when you embellish a little bit, it's going to be expected that you're going to deliver on it, right? And I have personally done this where I have embellished a little bit, but I know myself well enough to know that I've got to deliver on those embellishments. So I want to say that, you can embellish a little bit, elaborate a little bit more on your resume, but just remember that's going to be remembered, because if that was eye-catching and that was indicative of them selecting you for an interview, they're going to test you on that.
All right.
And then you might want to consider a few different versions of resumes based on the position types or the roles. And this is a great way to have ready like 2 or 3 types of resumes that make sense for you and the roles and positions that you want to seek for careers. And then I always say a good habit is annually always update your resume. So that is, those are the things that I really wanted to hit upon, and I hope they were helpful. But let's open it up for questions and dialogue. So Cookie?
So could you stop the sharing?
Sure.
thing? And then I would like to know if there's any questions about what you've heard or seen so far. And because then I'm going to deep dive in a little bit as well from the pool of resumes that I've reviewed here with all of us who are on this meeting. So any comments or questions at all for Michelle?
I learned good information. She gave me good information. Now I will update my resume.
Great. No, thank you for that feedback. It's great. Yeah, don't be shy. This is to help you. I'm here because I want to help everybody here be successful. I want to give you as many tips as possible. I never dreamed I would have a career at a utility company. Really, I didn't. And here I am 32 years later, and it didn't happen by accident. It happened by practice, and trial and error. So feel free to ask questions.
A resume writing thing, so I'll call it back, right?
Oh, Alicia, you're not muted. Or do you have a question for us?
I'm just Michelle, very good presentation.
Thank you.
And what I observed, I'm telling you what I observed and what I'm having a little difficulty with. I observed that with some of the job descriptions with PSE&G, they're always tailored to internal employees, in my view. Now, I am so very happy to hear your presentation, because a lot of the things that you have done, I also did in my previous experience. I have a lot of experience, but I don't necessarily know how to articulate that in a resume to tailor the United States market. And so this is where my struggle lies. How to articulate, you've done all the things that I've done, but how do I get that over into this market? This is a struggle that I am experiencing at this point in time, but very lovely presentation.
Well, thank you, Alicia. I really appreciate that feedback. So what I'm hearing is, how do you take your experiences from a different industry that you've been working out of, or multiple industries,
Yes.
and pull or extrapolate from those skill sets that you've acquired into this new sector, energy efficiency, green economy jobs, right?
Correct. Correct.
Try to find some common themes in the two, right? Based on looking at our job description and looking at your full life experience. What are leadership skills? What are technical skills that you've acquired? What are the communication skills, customer service skills? There are some common threads that you can pull potentially. Of course, I'd have to look at your resume currently to what kind of position you're going to, but that's the conversation that could be happening with your case manager if you're working with someone with the LAN or different workforce agency.
Yes.
You've got to say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I would say, Michelle, that very often, we are advised to cut down on our resume, which cuts off a lot of important details in our experience. And this is where I have a difficulty. Yeah, so it's something that I'm battling with. And I think it's important to get the balance for the two. But yeah, I hear you with what you're saying. Excellent.
So Bernice, I see your hand up and I kind of want to jump in here a little bit because I want to speak directly to the resumes that I have reviewed. And I think it'll answer some of your questions or at least guide you a little bit there, Alicia and others.
Yes.
Bernice, I see your hand.
Yes. Do I have the floor?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you so much, Cookie, and thank you so much, Ms. Gonzalez, for the presentation. My question is as follows. When you have, 20 plus years of experience, how do you narrow it down to just one page?
Correct.
Okay, that's I kind of knew that question was
correct.
That's really where I want to dive in.
Very good question.
No, thank you.
I mean, great question, but let me give it to you, Bernice. I got 40 years worth of it, and my resume has had to come down to one page, and that was not an easy task to do.
Yes,
I'm a
yes.
statewide
Okay,
advocate,
so that's
all kinds of campaigns and all of that. But let me just say a couple of things about the resume itself and the portal itself and the jobs itself.
Yes.
The jobs, once you finish your profile, and all of you, please, who have done so, give Victor a simple email, let him know that it's done, because this way the employers are contacting you directly. They're not contacting Victor or anybody else. So it's crucial that you finish your profile.
Yes.
If there's a company that you're interested in that has a good job or a good opportunity for you, it's not a PSE&G job.
Yes.
It's a vendor that works with PSE&G. So it's the solar panel guy, it's the weatherization guy, it's the truck driver guy, it's the one who delivers to Home Depot the products, it's the whole industry of clean industries. And these are the vendors that work with PSE&G. So it's not a PSE&G job. So that's important for you to know. And these vendors can be anywhere. They can be based in Newark, but they could have a location in Camden and Atlantic City because of the way their business works. So when you're thinking about that, it's especially if it's a career kind of changing job, you kind of want to know a little bit about this company before you go into the interview. Do they have several locations? Do they, how long have they been around? Do you know how impressive that is to an employer when Bernice tells me, oh, I seen you've been around for 30 years and I see you have 3 locations in New Jersey and throughout the country, something. I'm not ready for a person sitting on the other side of the desk as the interviewer to hear that from you, because many people don't do that, but how impressive could that be, right? We've talked a lot about doing cover letters because you guys, your resumes are extremely professional in some cases and need a little bit work in other cases, and you have so many transferable skills. Management skills, administrative skills, project skills, all of the engineering skills. You have all of that stuff, but you don't have any clean industries things in there. So I noticed one that as I read the cover letter, someone worked very, very hard on the cover letter. I don't remember the name right now, but it turned into like 6-7 paragraphs, the cover letter. And then as I looked underneath it, it was really kind of repeating the things on the resume. So that's what you don't want to do, right? You really want to like take the cover letter and take those transferable skills that Michelle was talking about and say, look, I have strong administrative, managerial, and project skills. I'm interested in this field, and I'd love to see how what's possible. I'd love to interview and get into this business. I also want to say to us that Clean Industries is a business that's brand new. If you get in now, you can only grow. You cannot go backwards. And it's so important because we know this industry is brand new to the world for us, certainly in New Jersey. So your cover letter should be a paragraph, right? So keep that in mind, right? Then all of this, and certainly most other jobs, are online. So you're really not looking at Cookie's face when they're looking at the resume, because they have all of these things in a folder in the computer. So you don't have that opportunity that you had in the past to impress me with your smile or whatever, or the way you dress or something. So it's really your resume that absolutely reflects you, right? And your resume has to jump out, like she just said, 6-7 seconds, right? So what is the first thing that your eyes will go to? The first thing that your eyes will go to is the objective. My objective is to get a full-time job, whatever it is, with my skill set and that, right? What else did I want to say here? Yeah, and you also have to remember, because I think Bernice, you talked about, well, how do I shorten it? And Alicia, you talked about that too. But you see, in those bullets, and you have to think about not only the resume, but you have to think about the interview too. All of the rest of those words that you put on the paper are words that you can use in the conversation and in the interview, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you put your whole sleeve on the paper, then you're kind of challenged sometimes to have the conversation, right? Okay. So another thing that I would offer us to consider, not only for us, but for anything in life, you all kind of have a base resume anyway, right? And that base resume, while what Michelle says is absolutely true, every year look at it, right? And update it, number one. But number two, your growth may have taken you to different places. So sometimes you have not so much of a professional job that you're going after, which you don't want a very highly skilled resume for a not so professional job like driving a truck or working in the warehouse, because now you're overqualified, right? And the other way around as well. What the point there is that you might want to have different kind of resumes for different things. Certainly when it's a really decent paying job, you want to be able to have that resume not only look like you in the folder in the computer, but reflect you in the interviews and how you have that conversation as well. On the skill set, when you're putting the skill set on the resumes, if you've already said you've done, you've managed an office for 15 years, they know you have administrative skills. But so you don't want to repeat that again in the skill set. You want to say stuff like, I'm able to work nights, I'm able to travel, completely trustworthy, I'm a team player, or I like the outdoors. Those, because sometimes, again, think if it's a weatherization job, you might want to say you like outdoors, or you don't, you want to work in the office. But those skill set also has to be something that you can elaborate on, right? And try not to repeat as much as possible, because as we go into the fields, this goes to Bernice a little bit, right? As we go through our careers, we kind of end up in the same kind of managerial or something. We end up in that same career path. So we don't necessarily have to repeat that on every one of the job histories that we share. Not only that, but sometimes when some of us are a little bit more seasoned than others, like grandma over here, right? You might only want to go back 10 years in a specific resume, right? Versus your whole life, because that's the CV, where you put everything you've ever done in a CV, which is something that you would have in your back pocket should you need it. And the last thing that I might say to you is, I would always only ever put references available upon request. And why is that so important? Because if Michelle is looking at your resume and she's already interviewed you, you know, you're going to send a little thank you, Michelle, for interviewing me email so you can keep your name in her face there, right? But she's looking at maybe 50 resumes, right?
Yeah.
If she asks you, you give it to her. But if she doesn't ask you, walk away with them in your pocket, because what does that do? When you don't share your references to Michelle and she likes you, when she calls you back to ask you for those references, you're in the shortlist. There's no question. You are in that shortlist. So whenever possible, and that also gives you, that's your second interview, because she's asking you for your resume, your references. So you say, I am so glad we had this interview. I'm so excited, you know, that the opportunity to do this, and you have another chance to talk to Michelle and sync the job for you. So you have to also kind of develop that script, if you will, to make Michelle want you over anybody else. So these are some of the things that come to mind when I've looked over all of your resumes, and some of them are really, really wonderful, but they either have to shrink down or build up. Now, if it's, and this is the last thing I'll say, if it's not an involved and detailed heavy duty resume and it's short, then maybe the cover letter wants to be a little bit more you, because maybe you're younger than some of us, right? And you don't have a lot of job history, but that goes back into your skill set and how you can finesse that resume into, who are you? Are you that people person? Are you that computer person, you know? And you kind of got to build that in a way that an employer might want to take a chance on you, you see. And there's these other little cohort things that PSE&G, this project is trying to do, where there's a vendor to, let's say, I don't know, Michelle's light bulbs. She needs 50 people and she has specific OSHA requirements or things like that. I'm making this up, by the way, right? So she's going to come to our pool of candidates and she's going to pick 20 of them. And she's going to put you through a training course, I believe paid, and with the guarantee of you acquiring that position at the end of the course. So that's not for everybody, because it's isolated right now, but 2 cohorts have been completed already, and they're building a 3rd one soon. That's something else for you to know. So I really hope I stimulated some more questions, and you don't have to agree with me, because this is an interactive kind of thing. And we're really, really here to make you the stars of this campaign. So please,
good insight. Good. Excellent. Excellent. And I've learned a lot from this, and it's not too far off from where I am. So excellent. Thank you very much for your insight, and thank you, Michelle.
You're very welcome. If I may, I'd like to add, you know, the crafting of your resume, and to Bernice's point of 20 years, and to also the valid points that Cookie has mentioned in not repeating if you can, but that's why you have to take a little time where you look at all those 20 years and where do you have the strengths, pull those strengths out. That's the exercise, you know, that you could just say, I'm a great communicator. I've got great writing skills. I'm got great soft skills with people. I love working in a team environment, or I like working individually. I want to be an individual contributor. You know, you really have to study again, right? All those years of experience, and try to condense it as best you can in a format like similar to what I had shown, where again, matching it to what is being said on the job description and linking it back to those 20 years of experience that are relevant. And communication skills are always relevant. Customer service skills are typically relevant. Leadership skills are relevant. These are some common things that are always relevant. Now, of course, if the position is saying I need to have a technical skill set, OSHA 30 or whatever, or I need to have I need to understand the basic fundamentals of electricity. You know, you don't have that, okay. And if you had no other real world life skills around working with electricity, then that's the opportunity to take a course and get the fundamentals, whether it's an online course or in-person course. But adding that to your resume so they know that you did some homework on your end to at least increase that knowledge base that is required for that position. But it is no small challenge, right? That taking 20 years and trying to line it up to a different career path, the work is, right? You're ticking off, where are the pieces that align that I can highlight in my resume that's going to be relevant. So when that recruiter is looking at it for 10 or 15 seconds, they can pull that out. And really all you want is that call. You want to get the phone call. So the paper is getting you to the phone calls. Once you get the phone call, then it's a whole different preparedness. Right now I'm preparing for how to speak and articulate what I'm bringing to the position and what I'm bringing to the organization and the value that you have to bring. And that's a different conversation, but the paper is got to get you to the phone call. And that's what you got to remember. And sometimes you just got to do the extra work and pinpoint those relevant pieces in the job description from the 20 years or 10 years or 12 years that you have that make it impactful and make it relevant so that the recruiter can pull that out and say, okay, I'm going to call this individual and request a resume or request additional information. But there's work to it, no doubt. And I did it. I've done it. I went from working as an engineering technician to a public affairs manager. It's two extreme differences. I was in operations, working with construction and working with electric and working with construction crews and engineers. And I'm here working now with municipalities and working with elected officials in the communities. And it's amazing, but I bridged it by linking all those things I've acquired in my technical world, my technical lifetime, and applying them to my current position. So I really applaud that everyone's going to give their best, chance to do that. But that is the work, is looking at what you have acquired, studying that job description, and see where there's links that you can make, and then condensing it.
So Michelle, we have about less than 10 minutes left. Questions, comments, concerns, didn't sound right, because I have something else to go after you with. But questions or comments, please. Okay, well, Alicia, go ahead.
No, I'm leaving this opportunity to others to speak.
Tonight was a good presentation anyway, so I have a lot of little work to do around my resume, but I learned a lot, yeah.
But as I mentioned in the chat, Jacqueline, we're honored to be able to support you with this. And I wanna take a couple minutes, because I want to hear from any of you, because I see your name so much. I feel like I know you. Right? I want to go to the interview. I want to go to the interview.
The interview. Thank you so much. That is what, yes.
Yeah.
What I want to say about the interview is, as we've talked about the resume, it should reflect you. The cover should reflect you. Your interview should reflect you, but pay very close attention to these words. The interview is a poker face room. The interview is a poker face room. I could be a nice person. I could be no good. You have no idea who I am. I could be saying things to you to test your chin, to see if you react in a bad way, to see if you're short-tempered, to see if you're deer in headlights. I'm testing you. You don't know that. I could look at you like I'm afraid of you, and I might be playing you, right? I could look at you like, oh, don't worry about nothing. I'm one of those old guys. And I might be one of those old guys, but I might be testing your personality against mine. And the real moral of that story is, you must always carry your best self, no matter what's going on. No matter how many people are behind you to interview, you carry who you are into that room, and you walk out of that room with your head held completely high, which means you have to continue to develop your best self, because it is a poker face room.
Absolutely.
Okay. I want you to never forget that. You don't know who I am. Either I am nice or I'm not. I could be fake as all get out, right? You don't know who I am, right? Jacqueline, were you gonna say something?
No, I said that's true. Yes, I know sometime, and sometimes it's nice to keep smiling too.
It's
Mm.
necessary because you're representing who you are. And you walk out always with your head high because you've presented your best self there, no matter what they do, because it could be a test.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, I just want to say thank you. I will update my resume. My name is Elisa Chengo.
Great.
Did you all, give me a thumbs up if you completed your profile. Let's get this over with, Victor.
We're aiming
Put
for
your
Thumbs up
thumb
for-
in the air. Did you complete your profile?
Thumbs up for me.
Okay, Elisa, who else?
I started, but I'm not finished.
Okay, just please do that profile because
Yes,
we'll help
I
you
will.
throughout the rest of the way because this way the stuff comes straight to you. I don't see any thumbs up. I'm gonna come after some of you.
I'm clapping. I'm clapping.
Catherine, did you want to say anything at all?
Just thank you, Cookie and Michelle. I think both of you did a really great job. I'm taking things away from this and gonna update my resume as well.
Excellent.
Wow.
Yeah, I can even speak from personal experience that anytime I do something new in my current role, I like to add it to my resume so I don't forget. And after like a few months, it's a disgusting size. And then I go back and like try to put like numbers in there, like quantify something. And I think that's something that Cookie and Michelle also touched upon, just being able to really quantify and beef up your resume.
Great.
Anyone else? Jessica Peña Thomas, I know you personally, madam. Are you there? I don't know, maybe she didn't hear me. There she goes.
Hello, everybody.
Was this helpful for you, madam?
Yes, it was. Thank you so much.
Thank you, love. Victor, you want to say, huh? Go ahead,
I have
Jessica.
I have to cut 10 years. I know that.
Yeah, but we're here for you, my love, and I'm
Thank you.
for all of you. Victor, you wanna, who's Hassan, first of all? What's going on there?
one of our candidates. New candidates.
You wanna say something at all, Victor, to our budding
Well-
family here?
Well, I want to say I didn't lie to you guys. This is very informative. You know, we have professional Michelle, Cookie, and Catherine themselves. I hope you guys found this very helpful. We'll always do our best to help you guys. We will continue to do our best to help you guys. And you guys know to email me, contact me, phone calls, anything. That's what we're here for. And thank you all for joining us. Really do.
Victor, thank you very much because you have been very helpful. I must admit, you have been very helpful following up and feedback. I appreciate it very much. Excellent job from you, Victor. I just wanted to let you know that personally.
Thank you. I really do appreciate it. It means a
I
lot.
second that one too, Victor. I second it.
Thank you. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. You're very
Thank
welcome.
you, Victor. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hassan, are you trying to say something? Huh?
Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Cuckoo. And thank you, Michelle.
I'm ready, Cuckoo.
Thank you, Michelle. Michelle, you're smiling through all this session. You're just
Hi,
smiling.
Alicia. How are you?
I'm happy to be here. I want to help, and I want you to know that there's a lot of opportunity. And if you need me to come back again and talk I'll talk about resumes again or interviews, I'm happy to do it.
Interview.
Okay.
Interview,
I can do
yeah.
that.
Yes,
Yes.
Michelle, thank you very much for your insight. We appreciate it very much.
So we're going to send out some group emails through Victor and I'll be CC'd on it. And if we want to meet as a group like this, again, that's fine. We can also do individual sessions as well, but our mission really is to get you hired.
Yes.
Really
thank
what
you.
this is all about, and to help you in every way to do that. So whether it's through group emails, individual, or having another session like this with you, and hopefully people that you know Because by the way, you have family and neighbors and friends that are looking for a job too. This is a real career, and this is an industry that is only going to explode. So send other people here as well if you think that they could get help from us in looking for a new job.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So with that, if there's no other comments, I thank you for giving us the opportunity to do our best to help you move forward. And hopefully you'll become famous and remember us little people.
All right, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Have a nice
Yeah.
evening.
Nice meeting
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Be a
Bye.
wonderful
Good night.
opportunity.
Okay, good night.
Bye. Good night.
Thank you, Victor.
No
Bye,
problem.
Have a good night,
everyone. Bye,
guys. Thank you so
Victor.
much. Have a good
Bye.
one.